not intelligent, and it's our first stream, and I forgot to press record. So it's gonna be kind of funky right here at the start, but it'll kind of sound okay.
So you can find us um, during the week on our mutual Twitch channels. I can be found at casualjoe_gaming,
And I am found at Meister390, and
and
oh shit.
oh,
and
yeah, and
fuck, god damn it.
this isn't getting cut.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, so yeah, the CNM.
I hope
I'm
you
seeing
enjoyed the first super scuffed episode of CNM in the PM. Fuck, this is scuffed as shit.
uh yeah, and so welcome to the podcast. We've got a lot of ideas on stuff to talk about in general, like over the upcoming weeks. But for this specific week, we're going to kind of be addressing why this is CNM in the PM and why we're doing a
Why is
recording
it
session
fucking 11
at
o'clock at
11
night?
p.m.
Yeah.
So the main reason for this is that Michael and I are nocturnal, kind of.
I'm less nocturnal and more I just don't sleep ever. Sleep is
Yes.
not necessary, apparently, to me.
So Michael is an insomniac, like legitimately medical condition, cannot sleep. I
Yeah.
am a masochist, maybe? I don't know. I just struggle to sleep, but not enough that I would seek out medication or help. I just being awake is more enjoyable um, than sleeping, in my opinion, because I can play video games or watch YouTube or talk to people when I'm awake. I can't do those things to sleep.
I
So,
disagree with that statement. I dislike being awake, but I'm here.
see the difference between a medical insomniac and someone who just can't calm down. But yeah, we'll get more into the details and reasons later. But that is the general idea of why we're doing this so late at night, at least our time. Um, and that will be the topic for this week. But on the docket, we have sorted video games that we'll talk about, how we met, just our lives, certain hobbies.
Random
Just,
things that we feel like talking about, and we figured we might as well freaking record it.
yep,
Is basically what it's gonna be.
yep, pretty much. So without further ado, I feel like I've been taking charge here, which you
I'm
probably,
okay with that.
yeah, I was
To
gonna
be
say you
honest,
probably don't care about that.
you can be in charge.
So, since you have the actual medical condition, I figure the majority of the talking about insomnia will be related more towards yours.
Oh,
So,
I guess.
yeah, well, I'm gonna interview you. That's been my
All
big
right.
plan that I didn't exactly say because I
Well,
figured that would make it
thanks for
easier.
keeping me in the loop. God, this is a
So
team
yeah,
effort, Joe.
so as far as I mean, I guess you should also then interview me about my situation.
Well, the
But
big thing is the fact that it's Saturdays, right? Like it's a weird day where we could be like playing games with a lot of people because they're not in school, at work, whatever. And instead we're doing this at 11 p.m.
yeah, well, yeah, it's so part of that is also like on Saturday evenings, I play Arma 3 with a unit because it's Arma, it's referred to as a unit. Other if it existed in like GTA or something, it'd be more of a clan to give an idea as to like how it functions. But yeah, so I'm busy from 7 p.m. until anywhere between 9 and 10:30 playing Arma 3 with a bunch of guys. And normally a bunch of them stay around and play video games afterwards. But instead I'm forfeiting that to sit here in a call and do this.
Yep,
Yeah.
you are.
No, I say that like it's a bad thing. I've wanted to do a podcast or a talk show or something along those lines, ever since I was in middle school, I think 7th grade is about when I started having these aspirations. I always thought it'd be super cool, super fun. Kyle is a third amigo of our group. He's another friend that we know through the same summer camp. We offered to let him be part of this as a regular member, but he's a bit busier than both of us, and he will become a regular guest.
Oh yeah,
Um,
and he'll be a good time to have around too, because he's just, oh boy, is he fun.
yeah.
He's just a good
So
time all around.
on that note of who we are and getting to know us, just real quick, using D&D alignment charts
Oh
to
fuck.
explain who we are. Kyle, no, Michael is, I would say, probably chaotic neutral.
That's fairly valid, I feel like.
Yeah, maybe chaotic good, but like you're not really that great of a person. Like you're friendly enough, you're a nice guy,
Yeah,
but
no.
like you're not gonna drop everything and like jump in front of a bullet for a stranger, which I would say a good alignment person
Well,
would.
but you see, that's the thing.
Okay,
I would, but
you.
not to save the person.
I know. That's not what I'm getting at.
I would 100%, just it wouldn't be for the right reason. Be like, I wonder what
So
it feels like to get shot through the chest.
yeah, so I hear it's cold. Anyway, um, yeah. So I would peg you as chaotic neutral, or maybe a true neutral. It kind of depends on how much energy you have in the moment.
Yeah, true. Depends on how many rock stars I've chugged down that day.
Yeah.
Seeing as
I
I run on
myself,
exclusively nicotine and rock stars.
you got to diversify the portfolio. More than one brand of energy drinks.
But then it's not consistent, and then my brain hates it.
Oh, I if it's labeled caffeine, I drink it and then call it weak for not being strong enough.
Yeah, it's clearly the caffeine's fault and not our problems with how much caffeine we drink.
Clearly, clearly, it is Monster's fault for not producing a standard size can of energy drink that affects me properly. Not me being almost 300 pounds and capable of drinking or of consuming over a
You know
gram of
this?
caffeine in a night without health.
You're more of like a lawful neutral. We talked about this the other day,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're more like a lawful neutral or just like a true neutral. But you can, if you're in the right mindset for that night, you can be just as chaotic as I am.
Yeah, so I would say regularly I'm a lawful neutral. Like I won't really go out of my way to help people. I enjoy helping people. I also don't mind like offending people, but I'm very like strict about following like societal norms as well as like actual law. So I will take the extra 30 seconds to go to the crosswalk and cross an empty road through the crosswalk rather than like
No, no.
through the regular
Are you
pavement. I
kidding
will.
me? Ah,
Yes.
you are awful and I hate you.
No, I'm lawful. Yeah, so I am lawful neutral, I would say, until I have had enough caffeine, or it's
Sorry.
late enough at night, or I'm stressed enough, or I'm around certain friends that I have,
Hi.
you and Kyle being two of them. And then I rapidly decline from lawful into chaotic. Kyle more so than you, but I've known Kyle for 2 years longer than I've
Yeah.
known you. If I'm with Kyle, I'm
The
the two of
three
us
of us.
become pure
Oh, the
chaos.
three of us having an hour and a half argument over whether pizza is a fucking sandwich, which it is.
Which
But we'll
wasn't
get.
even the start of the
Yeah,
argument.
no, it
It was a
wasn't.
tangent.
It wasn't the start of an argument. It was a tangent off of our main argument that lasted an hour and a half, and then we got back to the main argument. Um, but that was just an hour and a half of chaos. I had to start streaming it just because it was that ridiculous. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
The three of us together are not not
Yeah. So
okay.
that is why you should listen to us as opposed to potentially other podcasts. I know I said we're not like unique, but we have the potential to
But we
descend
could
into
be. I
such
don't know.
madness. I mean, as it is, I looked at the clock when I felt like we were ready to start going into like interviews on Insomnia and like talking
And
about
it was
our
like
lives, and it was like
10 after. Yeah.
11:04, and I was like,
And then
we're
we
not
went
going
on
to fill the
a
time. It's now
15-minute
11:20.
tangent. Do you want me to ask you first, or would you like
Yeah,
to ask me
because
first?
I'm gonna have you ask me first because I'm assuming A, it will give an opportunity for you to lead the conversation for a bit, and B, I'm assuming I'm gonna take up much less time than you as far as
That's
like
probably fair,
answering questions.
mostly because uh, medical versus
Yeah.
just an insane lunatic. So first of all, the fact that it's Saturday nights, what do you have going on during the week, Saturday during the day that we can't film this or we can't record this not at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night?
Yeah. So we could record this pretty much any day of the week, late night for me, because I'm typically up between the hours of 11 a.m. and 4 or 5 a.m. Sometimes I go to bed a little earlier, sometimes I wake up a little later. So like today I think I woke up in the afternoon because I was up until 5 or 5:30 last night. Um but yeah, so that's part of the reason why we can't do this in the morning is I just won't be awake. Or I'll be in class because I am a college student, and so I have classes in the late morning, early afternoon throughout the week. But there's nothing that would stop us from recording at like 4 p.m. on Tuesdays other than your work schedule when it finally arrives. And I don't typically like I don't know. I like doing stuff late at night. I like being most active then, but that also means that it gets to be like 2 in the morning and I don't feel like doing anything because it's late. So then even though
Yeah,
that's when I feel like I should be productive, I'm just not.
like when you're just sitting there, like, man, I feel like I'm awake. I could be doing things right now, and instead I'm mindlessly watching YouTube or whatever, right?
Yeah. And part of that is the ADHD. And I think ADHD is part of the reason why I am up at such weird hours and why I say like I'm awake because I don't like to go to sleep because sleeping is boring.
Yeah, which
Uh,
fucking fair enough. Like, um, the other thing is you're talking about you wake up at like 11 a.m. ish normally, and you're up till like 5. What? How do you fill in the fucking gaps in there? Because there's no way you're just like all day fucking grinding on shit.
yeah. So like just for today's schedule, what I've done just today, I woke up. Um, let's see, when did I call my mother? Because I called my mom shortly after I woke up. Oh, that was 3:02 in the afternoon. Good grief. I slept late today. So I probably woke up and was like aware of the fact that I was awake and like conscious enough because I was definitely awake for like a half hour to 45 minutes and just unable to comprehend anything. Like body awake, mind still shut off. Um and so that went until probably close to 3 where I saw my mom sent me a message saying to call her. So I did. Or maybe that was after my shower. I don't know. But yeah, so I woke up. I spent a couple hours, like around an hour, not doing much except taking a shower. I typically take fairly long showers. I honestly just sit under the water for like 20 minutes sometimes. Like not even thinking. Like I just
20,
enjoy the feeling of the
20
water.
minutes? Like that's it?
Oh, that's just the portion of sitting under the water.
Oh,
That's
okay.
not including uh,
The actual shower part of the shower?
the actual shower part, which will be interrupted and interspersed with just sitting under the water. Because towards the end of the shower, because I take hot showers, I'll change it to colder water to cool my body off. Because sometimes I overheat and look like a lobster. But then I get too cold, so I turn back to hot water, and I sit for like 10 minutes trying to bring my overall body temperature down without actually getting cold, and it just doesn't work. But I still try anyways.
As someone who has seen you shirtless before, the picture of just a beet red Joe popped into my mind when you said that. Killed me.
Yeah, so I shower, and then after I shower, I sit at my desk in just a towel and air dry and watch YouTube for anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour, depending on what I have to do.
Which is fair.
Then after that, I literally do nothing. Like I just watch YouTube and or play video games until I go to bed.
That's insane to me. Like I couldn't. Like I can,
I
and I have just gone a whole day where all I do is YouTube, video games, and then go lay down, and that's it. That's my day.
yeah.
But like it takes a lot out of me to be able to do that. Like I have to if I'm doing a day like that, like I've tried to do 24-hour streams before and whatever. The longest I've gone is 18 hours, and I took the 2 days before that off to like physically go out, get a lot of exercise in, you know what I mean? Make sure I was
Yeah.
well rested beforehand. And like the thought of just being able to do that is insane to me.
Yeah, it's so part of what it is like the ADHD. And so one way I've heard ADHD described is like there's something wrong with the serotonin producers in the brain. And so certain activities that are supposed to produce serotonin don't, or like there's a serotonin deficiency. And so basically I spend my entire life trying to provide the short-term happiness that is associated with serotonin. So like for example, petting a dog like is something that would provide you with serotonin, or playing your favorite video game. But that doesn't produce serotonin like it's supposed to for me. And so basically it's like I'm constantly in withdrawal of serotonin, and so I only do activities that would produce serotonin. Like my body is would like feels like it would be a violent reaction to doing anything that would be potentially boring or mundane. And so I'm super far behind in schoolwork. And while I enjoy doing schoolwork, like the actual process of like sitting down and reading a textbook or typing a paper does not bother me. However, it takes so much energy to like get to that, to realize, hey, this is fine. You're not going to die from doing this. Like, it's not the end of the world that you're not doing one of these things that gives you a ton of serotonin or supposed to. It's okay. It's fine. And I'm sure that's how people, not to equate myself with certain people, but like you use nicotine. I'm sure that like if you tried to quit, you
Which I
would feel,
have.
yeah. But I'm sure like if you quit nicotine tomorrow, 5 years from now, you would probably be like, yeah, this is fine. I'm glad I'm away from it. I feel great for this reason or that reason. And maybe your body would still be like, no, I need this. I miss this. But like you have to verbally per se tell yourself, no, this is okay. We're not going to die because we don't have the nicotine. And that's how I like constantly feel about anything productive. I don't mind cleaning, but the idea of cleaning feels dangerous to me, for lack of a better term. And so that leads me to just being up really late and time passing by and me not even realizing. Or going to sleep is a healthy thing, but watching YouTube is more entertaining. So I'll lay in bed for an hour and a half watching YouTube, just waiting for my body to finally give up and shut down. Like
Like, you just can't take it anymore. It's okay. We're
yeah,
done. This is it. This is the line, and you've crossed it.
yeah. When I fall asleep, it's at the point of extreme exhaustion, or I'm incapable of doing anything else to entertain myself. So, like, if you were to confiscate my phone for a week, I would sleep better because I wouldn't be able to watch YouTube late at night. The first night would be terrible because I would just be awake and not doing anything. But eventually, I'd get back to better sleep. But when I do have access to things, like I'm just awake. I've woken up at 4 in the morning after going to bed at 2 a.m. and I'm just awake. And I'm like, oh, guess I'm awake now. And I've just gotten up and gone to my computer and done stuff. And that was my sleep for the day.
Oh yeah, and I am aware of this fact, and I've experienced it, and it's crazy, man. You'll be you'll be almost dead, like just barely able to talk to us in a call. Like, man, I gotta go to bed. Like, I can't. I'm barely
It's
keeping my eyes open, and then we just play video games for 2 hours, and you come back, and it sounds like you slept for 8 hours, and you're just fucking raring to go. It's like, what happened
Oh,
in
I
those
hit my
two
second win
hours?
very easily.
Like, you're like, man, I can barely keep my eyes open. I'm going to bed, and you go, you do whatever happens. Maybe you sleep for an hour and a half, whatever, and you come back, and you are just good to go. Like, you are on the ball, ready to zip
Yeah.
around.
Yeah, the hamster wheel in my brain that like gives me energy does not produce much energy, but the hamster never stops running.
You got a battery backup, and then that hour and a half of sitting still and like maybe taking a nap or whatever builds that up, and then you get back and you're like, oh fuck, here we go.
Yeah. And so like even now, like I have two classes that I'm very far behind in lectures. I have not watched the lectures. As far as stuff I have had to turn in, I'm up to date. And I have so much anxiety about those two classes. Like it's getting close to midterms. And so I've already taken a midterm for one class. I'm just terrified that I'm going to check my email and see that I missed a midterm because I wasn't attending class or checking my email but still turning in quizzes. And since the midterm was in person, it just wasn't available online. And that anxiety that I've missed something keeps me from doing schoolwork.
Which is like a weird loop I've heard from a lot of people that like I I'm so worried about missing doing my schoolwork that I'm physically incapable because of my anxiety to do my schoolwork, which makes me more anxious because I can't get schoolwork done, and then I'm
Yeah.
not doing more schoolwork, and it's just this big spiraling loop of holy fuck, I did literally nothing except worry about doing my schoolwork when I could have been doing my schoolwork.
Yeah, I've lived in that loop for like close to 2 years now. Like I have physical chest pain right now thinking about my email that I haven't checked in weeks. I say weeks, like maybe a week and a half.
Yeah.
And just opening it would relieve all of it.
But it's
But
so stressful to be able to like
mm,
I know what you mean. I it's hard to articulate, but I understand what you're getting at.
yeah,
Where it's
that is what
just stress makes it hard to do things, but then you it because it's hard to do things, you can't do the thing that would relieve the stress.
yep,
That was not a graceful way of saying that, but I got it out there.
yep, it works. Yeah, so I don't sleep because sleep is boring because my brain is broken.
Hey, at least we both technically don't sleep for the same reason because our brains are broken.
Okay, you don't sleep because your brain won't shut up. I can't sleep because my brain won't do anything. My brain's too quiet and it needs something else to happen.
Well, it's still a broken brain, just in different ways.
Yeah.
um, I asked you why we stream this late for scheduling
Yeah.
reasons because you have Arma and whatever on Saturdays, and late night is
Yeah,
what works best.
the only weekly commitment that I'm very good about meeting is playing video games at 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Yeah, which I mean, fair enough.
That and my one class that has mandatory attendance, and like anything that has mandatory attendance where there's potential repercussions, like yeah, I'll be there. but my other 3 classes don't have mandatory attendance, and so those are a bit of a crapshoot.
Yeah. Which, fair enough. Like, I wouldn't go if I didn't have to. Because why would you? I'm not
Yeah.
required to. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Not that I could think of.
Yeah. Um. So yeah, Michael,
Hello, that's me.
for for the listeners and/or viewers out there, what medical condition do you have that keeps you up?
Oh, so many. Would
Because
you like
I
the
know them,
would
but
would you like the whole list or like just
sure,
a
and
brief?
we can break it down from there.
I have my OCD, anxiety, well, which is so I have obsessive compulsive disorder, which is my OCD. I have acute anxiety disorder. Um, I have a really fun case of depression, which has a big backstory that we might go into at some point. Probably not tonight,
Not tonight. We can talk about
because
our depressive episodes a different day.
um, yeah, the last one does. My last mental condition doesn't really. My last two, we can talk about those another time too, because they don't really affect my sleep. They're just my brain's fucked.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my OCD basically makes me obsess over everything for no reason because it feels like it. My acute anxiety makes me worry about everything just because it feels like it. And my depression makes me hate myself and not want to live because my brain feels like it.
Hmm.
And that's why I can't sleep. So I get between 0 and an hour and a half of sleep on the average night when I'm at home, which is super fun and I love so much. Which is why I run almost exclusively on nicotine and energy drinks.
Yeah.
There is
Now,
exceptions, but
you don't want to get into the exceptions?
yeah, when there is exceptions where I do like sleep properly, and it's most of the time because I'm either in a state of physically cannot be awake any longer, or it's going to like cause me physical problems, and my body's just like, no, you're sleeping now, sorry.
Yeah.
Which are amazing nights of sleep, awful to wake up to
Yeah.
because everything hurts. Um, and that's after like 2 or 3 days of zero, nothing for 2 or 3 days, and then on the fourth day, it's just out for 5 or 6 hours, and it feels freaking fantastic. Later in the day, but right when I wake up, everything hurts. My
Yeah.
body's not used to it. I'm like, what the heck is happening? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
always, super fun.
And I've seen you not be able to sleep.
Oh yeah, and it's
There Yeah, there was one summer where we were working together, and between different stuff going on in your life as well as just the various mental issues, you were running wind sprints.
at like what 1, 2 in the morning, something like that.
I think it once got as late as 3, and both of us had a curfew of 11:15, but because
Of the specific situation.
yeah, the managing staff understood the situation with you, they didn't care about you, and then because I was still functioning even with late nights, they didn't care as much, and they knew that I was trying to help you and make sure you didn't hurt yourself
I
more than
think,
normal.
yeah, more than being awake that late and doing wind sprints.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that was ever said to me, even though we had an 11:15 curfew, about the fact that I was up, other than like talking about why I'm up that late and what mentally is going on that I'm awake that late doing wind sprints, was to not do it on the tarmac and to go do it on the
Because it was
grass
loud.
instead,
Yeah.
because my feet were so loud with my bare feet slapping against tarmac that it was they were like, can you like go onto the grass at least and do this so you're not being as loud as possible.
Yeah, because we had one night where the two of us were up on the shack porch at 3 in the morning, and one of the program directors
I think it
stepped
was
out of the
Rod.
office. It was. I was going to leave him unnamed, but it doesn't matter now.
Yeah. Is this his first
um,
name?
yeah, Rodney saw us, and he just waved,
Yeah,
and
he's.
I was,
It's 3 a.m. We're over. We're basically 3 hours past curfew, or at least pretty close to
yeah,
that. And he
even
comes out of the
closer.
office and he just gives us a wave. We wave back, and then he walks away.
Which I think that was. It wasn't like the first night I stayed up with you, but it was definitely the first night that he like saw me up with you,
Yeah.
because he knew about your condition. But I was just like, I'm gonna get in trouble, and then there was nothing, and then after that, multiple like different people
I know
above us.
Ryan one night at like half past midnight came out of the rec hall from having a snack. Oh no, he had gone in there to get a late night cup of Chick-fil-A iced tea
Yeah,
that we had bought for him like the day prior or something. And he comes out of the rec hall and he's just like, "So you two are up tonight?" Like, "Yep." All right, and walks away with his glass of iced tea in his hand back over to the house and just like very
yeah.
subtly was like, "What the heck is happening here?" You know what? I'm not gonna question it. I'm also awake and getting iced tea, so what can I say?
Ryan also has insomnia,
Yes,
so him more than
he
anybody else, I'd expect to be
he
fine.
he'd also has OCD, and me and him have had such great conversations at like 4 a.m. sitting in the living room in those big leather chairs.
They got rid of those.
Did they?
No,
Oh, that's
no,
unfortunate.
no, no. They kept the two leather chairs. They got rid of the two fabric chairs.
It was their time. It was their
It
time to go. Those things were
was.
like
The white
falling
one was
apart.
still nice. It was gross, but it was nice. Like it had the best feel.
It was
Um,
comfy. Okay, well,
yeah.
nice might not
When
be
I
the
when
right
I say
word.
gross, it was just stained. It wasn't like smelly or like wet or anything. It just had a few stains. Um,
It was questionable at best.
yeah. But yeah, so and I'm actually genuinely surprised nobody ever stopped me because I'd been there for a while already. Like
Yeah, you'd been there for
the
like 4 or 5
camp
weeks already by the time
camp
that was
cares a
happening.
lot about like longevity. Most people after their 2 week session are completely wiped out. They need to go home and rest. And I
Yeah, but
regularly am there for 5, 6, 7 weeks
the weird part
without
was
issue.
you were there for what 7 weeks that summer,
Yeah, that was a 7 weeker.
and I was there for 4, and that was my first of like week 1 and 2 of that 4 that we started doing
Yeah.
that. I think probably week 2 that you started staying out with me, and week 1 where I would just lay in my bed in the dark.
Hmm.
Um, and we both stayed. Like I stayed an extra 2 weeks. You stayed the 2 weeks after that started happening, and no one like once they
Ever.
realized that we were like, this is just how we normally were when we were at home. Um,
Yeah.
no one really was like, hey, maybe you should not be awake right now. And they were like, oh, you can't not be awake right now? Okay, you can do whatever you're doing. Just do it quietly.
Yep. And I can say like for me, that was a hard summer because like that was the best I got to know you. Like that was when you started opening up to me. We like our friendship became more than just two guys that really enjoy seeing each other. And like I'm not going to lie, it was hard to watch you go through that. And like knowing that that's a regular thing for you like sucks so much.
I've gotten into a better rhythm now where I'm like, I will actually set a time where I have to go upstairs and I have to at least physically rest for a certain amount of time. Like you've seen it when we're playing games late at night. I'm like, I have to at least go lay down because it's this far before I have to work tomorrow morning and I need to lay down or I'm not going to get the physical rest I need even if I don't sleep and get the mental rest I need. Which has really helped it's made me feel better physically, of course, because I'm actually like resting, which is super super nice because I love resting. Physically, it makes me feel better. So even if I'm completely brain dead and I can't think straight whatsoever, I can at least still huck 50-pound bags of whatever needs to get thrown around that day at work.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah.
walk into work and I'll say, my brain is not working great today, but if we've got some big stuff to move, I will move it.
Yeah.
And I think just setting that time for so many hours before I have to get up and leave my house, I need to be in bed, has really helped with that.
Yeah. And so on that note, what does that look like for you? What does it mean for you to go and rest?
Um, when I go and rest, my phone half an hour after I get into bed, my phone has to be turned off, plugged in, out of my sight line. I go up, do my nightly routine, brush my teeth, everything, get in bed, and just lay in the dark, hope I fall asleep. And if I go all night and it's dark and my alarm goes off in the morning saying, hey, you need to start getting ready for work, I'll lay there all night. It feels like an eternity every night. And then I get up, my alarm goes off, I get up, I get dressed, and I start my day just like as if I had gone upstairs and slept for 8 hours, gotten up and go,
Yeah.
just without this sleeping for 8 hours part. I'll lie there basically motionless for my time is 6 hours that I give myself. So at least I'm rested for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Lately, during the week when I know I have to work tomorrow and I've worked all day, I'll give myself 8 hours or 9 hours where I just go and lay in bed. But normally, if I do that, I give myself extra time on my phone. Like I'll give myself if I go upstairs 8 hours, say I'm gonna get 8 hours of sleep, I'll go up there 9 hours before I have to get up in the morning, watch an hour on my phone, and then 8 hours of laying in my bed. And then my alarm goes off, get up, get ready to go. Start the day. Whether
Yeah.
I get no sleep whatsoever or a full 8.5 hours, which is my new record for this summer of sleep in
Oh,
one night.
congratulations.
It was not 8.5 hours straight, but it was in one day. Like it was in one night.
I hit a record of 15 hours, I think, this summer.
I,
Which before college, I had never slept more than I think 9 hours.
I think
So,
technically my record would be like 18 hours in the span of 24 hours. But that was after I got my second dose. And like I just literally couldn't stay awake because I was on other medications also at the time, and then I got my vaccine
okay,
dose,
okay.
and I was like, oh my goodness, I literally just can't stay awake. I had enough energy to get from my bed to the couch and then fell asleep on the couch
Okay. I was about to say,
in like less than 10-15 minutes.
when I got the second dose of the vaccine, like it was on my day off with Beckwith, and I literally like spent the whole day out in town doing stuff. So if it had done that to me, like it just would have ruined his day off.
Yeah, true. When I got my first dose, which was weird because I got my first dose at like 8:15 in the morning, and I was driving home. All of a sudden, my phone buzzes, and it's the rancher that lives around the corner. It was like, "Hey, can you come work today?" I was like, "Sure." Next day, I get to my regular job, and they're like, "Hey, I heard you got your vaccine yesterday. How do you feel?" I'm like, "Well, my left arm is sore, which is where I got my vaccine." But also, my right arm is sore and both my legs are sore because I shoveled gravel for 6.5 hours yesterday. So it was a weird, like, I don't know.
Yeah,
But yeah, my second vaccine, I felt great for like 2 weeks after I got my second dose because I had so much sleep in my system just saved up. For like
yeah,
2 weeks, I felt amazing. I didn't sleep for 4 or 5 days afterwards, but man, I felt great.
yeah. No, the concept to me of laying in bed for 8 hours with no stimulation, like awake, like it's one of the nights where you get no sleep, but you laid there for 8 hours, that literally sounds like hell on earth for me.
Oh, It used to
Like,
be so brutal. Like I used to set an alarm for every 2 hours to get up and go do something and go lay back down. Um, I realized that wasn't helping me, so I did.
yeah,
I just set 8 hours, set a timer for 8 hours. When I plugged my phone in, when that timer went off, that's when I got up. Um, and now it's not so bad because I've been doing it for oh 6 or 7 months now,
yeah,
where I've been on this strict. You need to actually rest and not just be an idiot and stay up all night. And so now it's not so bad. It's like it's just something I'm used to now. It's part of my daily schedule. But before it was like when I first started doing it, it was brutal and I hated it. But I knew I needed to do it. And that's the big thing is yeah, it sucks. So does going to work every day, but the paycheck's real nice. Yeah, it sucks laying in my bed in the dark all night, but it's really great in the morning when I'm not super sore because I literally existed the day before. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah. No, I do.
That if I'm just being alive, I'd be wake up sore. Like I'd be sore the next day just because I didn't physically rest. And so now, with in hindsight, I wish I had started sooner. But hindsight's always 2020, right?
Yeah,
The way I am now, I am a huge fan of this sleep schedule that I've got going on. Well, sleep schedule, I guess, in air quotes, because like
yeah,
it's not really sleep, but the schedule I have for actually making sure I get rest is so much better now, and I can, which is always weird when I'm like, oh yeah, I can pull an all night or whatever. People are like, what? How? I'm like, I don't sleep anyways. I might as well be doing something. Like,
yeah. I basically accidentally pull all nighters at this point.
well, I will. I can pull all nighters, and I do sometimes from time to time still. Like just if I know I have the day off tomorrow and I can lay down and physically rest during the day, I'll pull an all nighter
Yeah,
with some guys and like play games or whatever. Just because I know I can. I prefer not to, but like I can. It's not like nothing's gonna stop me from doing it. Not
yeah,
like I'm gonna get tired and fall asleep in my chair. Because if that happened, I would pull all nighters all the time. I would love that.
yeah. No, because a few weeks ago I went home to help my parents out with chores while they went and took a whole slew of dogs to the vet for tests, and I showed up at like 11:30. They had already gone to bed. Because with my dad's condition, he now is the opposite of me. He wakes up at 4 in the morning and is just awake, and goes to bed at like 7 or 8 p.m. And so, yeah, I get home. My parents are both asleep already. I hang out with my brother for an hour or so, and then I'm just sitting on the couch. It's a recliner couch, so I'm reclined trying to sleep, but there's animals everywhere. So I'm like petting cats and I'm on my phone, and I'm just laying down to like try to get sleep at I think 4 in the morning. And my dad walks out of his room at 4:15. I was like, "Oh, you're here. Great. Have a cup of coffee with me."
Yeah, well,
And so then
the
my
most
parents were just
awkward
like,
is always like when you're focused on something all night and you don't realize what time it is, and then all of a sudden someone who works shift work comes downstairs and you're like, ah, shit. It must
I
be
have that
quarter to
happen
5.
so often. I look out the window and it's daylight, and I'm like, oh no. But yeah, so I had coffee and breakfast with my parents, and then they were like, "Yeah, since you literally didn't sleep last night, we're just gonna do the chores that you specifically came home and then weren't able to sleep because the couch wasn't comfortable enough to do." So they just went and did the chores. I had to do like three things instead of a list of like 12. And then I did those things, and then I went down to my room, which my brother has been using because his room has had a flea infestation, I think, and so
Oh, fun.
they're dealing with that. And so, yeah, my brother went with them to help at the vet, and then I finally slept. So I slept for 3-4 hours, and then I just went home, and it was like, wow,
Man, the
this
thought of that is insane to me. Like, if
like
it's
that I was
daylight,
able to
I'm
just
not
lay down and
sleeping.
sleep. Oh, so
Unless I'm in
my
a
room at
car.
home is in the basement, and it's in the corner that is completely underground. So I don't have windows
Gotcha.
in my room at home.
Well, like,
Meanwhile, at college, I live on the third floor.
I cannot, period, cannot sleep no matter. Like, if there's daylight, if it's nighttime, I can't sleep, period. My brain just keeps going. There are, again, some exceptions, but period, I cannot sleep. Unless I'm the passenger in the car.
Yeah, it does not matter the hour. I can sleep if my brain is willing to shut down.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah,
No, like if I'm in the car, if I'm a passenger in a, like if I'm driving, of course, I don't get sleepy at all. But if I'm a passenger in a car, I don't know what way we turn out of the driveway sometimes because I'm just that exhausted, and a car for some reason just clicks my mind right off when I'm a passenger.
I used to sleep a lot in the car. Then I started driving more, and my brain realized that it can't sleep as easily.
What you have to remember is it takes me like 15 seconds to walk down my driveway, let alone pull out of the driveway in a car.
Mhm.
And I've fallen asleep before we've turned out of the driveway before. Like, we don't have a long driveway, but I've definitely fallen asleep before we've pulled out of the driveway before, like within the past year and a half.
Yeah.
I do a lot of
All
my own
right.
driving now, but
Yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Sorry that the uh whole stream just everything is a bit scuffed right now. We literally decided to do this last week. Um
and we did most of the
so
prep work for it yesterday and today, within like
yeah.
half an hour before starting.
So shout out to us for like actually doing this.
We've been talking about
Um
this, like, yeah, we decided to do it last week, but we have been like
we've
subtly
made
talking
jokes or
about it,
comments. Yeah.
yeah, for a while now. So I'm glad we actually like finally last week we're like, okay, I'm getting into a more stable job. You kind of know what's going on with your school schedule better. This is a good time to like. This is a good time to start shit.
Yep.
If we're gonna do it, now's
So
the time.
thanks for everyone who's tuned in. Special thanks for all the people listening several weeks from now that might not know us personally. And an especial thanks to David, who is listening to this on December 7th, 2021. You know who you are, and we know who you are, and we're coming for you.
We're gonna get you. You cannot
We're,
escape us. We are inevitable.
if you think we're just saying this to like be funny and like no, like we know a David or two, we're gonna send this to them on December 7th. This is their warning.
This is
Their
their
time has
warning.
come. You've put up with their stuff for too long. um so yeah.
I don't care where you live, I'm driving to your house at some point in the future. David, on December 7th, when you're hearing this, this is your formal warning.
Yep.
Whichever David you are.
We haven't decided yet, but we're done with you.
We're done. By
Yep.
December 7th,
So
we'll be upset with you.
you can watch this live on Twitch on Saturdays, 11 p.m. Eastern, every Saturday, unless we make an announcement saying one of us can't attend the recording session or something. We're going to upload these episodes the following Friday on Spotify and on YouTube. YouTube will be the same view that the Twitch stream had, which will probably slowly evolve to show different things.
Hopefully.
Right now, I don't know what it's showing because of various technical difficulties we had.
Right
But I
now,
know
it's
for
just showing the Discord screen with me, you, and Craig.
okay, it is showing that. Yes. So this third thing that has done nothing is the bot that is recording this call for use on Spotify. So say hello to Craig, everyone. We don't like him. He
Fuck
kind of
Craig.
feels like a stalker just sitting here. Yeah. Also, naming bots human names is weird to
He's
me.
super helpful of a bot, but the fact that his name is Craig pisses me off just a little bit every time I see it.
Yep. So another special thanks to Craig. All of the platforms that you can find us on, it will be CNM or C and M, depending on if the and symbol is usable or not. We're doing this like Dungeons and Dragons,
Hopefully.
which you may have definitely heard the influence of throughout this, and there will be further discussions on D&D later. But yeah, find us at CNM and the PM on various platforms. Um, we have no planned signing off, so I don't know if we're gonna say goodbye or just randomly cut it because
Fuck, I hope you sleep
scuffed
better
is fun.
than we do tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone out there, hope you're resting well. If you're listening to this to try and fall asleep and you're now hearing this departure, sorry that you weren't able to fall asleep in the
Yeah, man.
rough hour
Welcome
of
to
this.
the club.
Yeah. So I know I'm not ever going to listen or watch these except maybe for quality testing
You're
because
gonna.
I lived
Oh,
it
listen here,
and I hate
Buccarino.
my recorded voice.
You are gonna listen to this so many times editing it down. It's not gonna be
I
fun.
know. I know. So I will not be trying to listen to this to sleep. But full respect to people who sleep to podcasts. Um,
Full respect to
yeah,
people who
it's
sleep. Good for you guys.
yeah. Well, what's it like laying down knowing you're going to sleep for more than 6 hours? I lay down and I just don't know when I'm falling asleep. I know I will. I just don't know when.
I lay down
I
and
don't
don't know if I
like
am
that.
gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
But yes, I hope you all rest better than we do tonight and enjoy your week.